Alright, I should be live now. Only one way to find out for sure. Okay, so it says receiving content, and I am live. Hello, I am now officially live. Alright, just making a few adjustments here. Making sure things are going the way they're supposed to. I know we have some more noise in this room and there's nothing I can do about that, so sorry. I will do what I can. Just need to do this real quick. There we go. There's that. All right. Happy Halloween, everybody. How are y'all doing? How you guys doing? I'm back here at the library. I don't actually even have any books in the room with me this time. But I did get the room with a window, so I'm pretty psyched about that. Been sitting here while I've been getting ready to do this, and every once in a while I just stand in the corner like a CEO and just gaze out upon my domain that isn't my domain even remotely. I'm just passing through. I think that's the Tom Waits song. The world is not my home, I'm just passing through. So, yeah, that's me. I hope this comes out halfway decent, I really do. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry. But, you know, winging it here, this is live, so there's only so much I can do. I wore a shirt with buttons on it for you today, though. Look at my buttons. They're all buttoned and everything. I ate a Crunch Bar earlier and I managed to not get chocolate on myself. I'm pretty proud about that. But, let's see how we're doing. Oh, somebody's watching. If you're watching this, it says I have one person watching. That might be me. But if somebody is watching this, come over and say hello in the live chat. Because I'd like to know who you are. I'm curious. You know, it's Halloween, and this is honestly my favorite time of year. And not just because it's the time of year where when my birthday falls, but I don't know, it's always held a certain romance for me. Halloween specifically has always held a certain romance for me. You know, gooses and goblins and ghosts and all that stuff. I've always really liked that sort of thing, and kind of having fun with it and getting to dress up and play a character. And you know, when I was a kid, everybody out after dark. Ooh. Like, you wouldn't know it now because of where I live now, but where I grew up, it was very dark by the time trick-or-treating started. Like, sun went down around 4:45, 5 o'clock-ish, if I remember correctly. So you start trick-or-treating around 7, and it's pitch black. It is pitch black, especially the neighborhood I lived in, because it was suburban, but it had been more in the country, so there wasn't a whole lot of street lighting on my street especially, and that's what I think Halloween should be: a bunch of kids wandering around in the dark with flashlights in their little bags. That's my Halloween. So yeah, this time of year is really special to me, and this day is really special to me. You know, I've always had a kind of interest in folk tales and myths and horror to a degree, although you'd be surprised how easily I get scared. Yeah, I don't do well with horror movies, but I do what I can. And I don't know, it's just always been a special time of year for me, so I get really excited around Halloween. And now living in the South, I get even more excited around Halloween because Halloween or right before is when the temperature drops below the boiling point of lead. And you can actually wear shirts with sleeves. Look, I mean, I've got them rolled up now, but I can wear a shirt with sleeves. I have a jacket over there. I can wear a jacket. I can wear my good clothes. I always joke with my girlfriend that up north, everybody can't wait until summer so they can wear their good clothes again, because they'll get ruined by walking in the snow and the slush and the salt on the roads and stuff. Down here, it's the exact opposite. I can't wear my good clothes until the temperature drops below 80 degrees. So it's kind of an interesting parallel there. I find it kind of funny. And thankfully, I actually brought my other laptop to do this stream because I wanted to see how well it worked that way. And actually, I don't even know if my audio is synced. I'm gonna have to see if my audio is synced. I hope so, because this is all wireless. When I did the big live stream with Colin on my birthday, we had everything wired up, but I didn't bring a Cat 6 cable to the library with me. So I'm gonna hop over here to the other computer and see what's what. Don't mind me. I'm just doing other things. I know I'm supposed to be talking to you, but you know, we're doing this now. So let's see if my audio is synced up. Oh jeez, I'm like turning the video down instead of the audio. Smart Nick, good job. Whoa. Did I just lose my feed? Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on there. I've got a bad video feed, but I'm working on it. I'm gonna do what I can. I don't know what's up exactly. It was fine until I did this over here, so maybe that's causing the problem. I'll bet you that's exactly what's causing the problem. Alright, so I'm gonna have to cut that. Hopefully that'll fix it. Sorry about that guys, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if somebody's eating bandwidth in here or what, but I'm working on it. Oh, seems to be getting better. Okay. Looks like it came back. Sorry about that, y'all. Y'all? Sorry about it, guys. I'm gonna have to bring it up on my phone. Okay. Sorry about the buffering. At the moment, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm hoping that it levels out. But I don't have any control over the data feed here because I'm at the library. So, sorry about that. Alright, I'm not getting any buffering on mine, so anybody who's watching this, if you want to check to see, you let me know in the chat if it's buffering, and also because something's going on here, I know somebody's watching. Whoever you are, if you could please let me know. Oh, you went away. Darn it. universes. Oh, I don't think I've shown you guys my ring. It's a D20. There you go. I want my video health to come back up. Fix yourself, video. This is what happens when you live stream on public internet. Okay, I'm gonna check it on my phone real quick, because I have that option. I have a test account for doing exactly this. So, let's do that. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I should probably be talking to you guys. I'm sorry, it's probably going to feed back a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Seems to be working. Quality isn't great, but I mean, you can only do so much with it. Okay, so I have a decent feed now, which is important to me. And then we go from there. So, it says one watching, but I don't know who that person is. I don't know if it counts me as watching or not. It's one of those mysteries of the universe that I don't know the answer to. I mean, I'm getting smooth streaming. I don't know, like when I tested it, it was okay. Hello, new person. Let me know if this stream is actually smooth, if it's giving you guys any trouble, or if there's an audio sync problem or anything, because I'm on a little bit of a touchy network here. LUS fiber is wonderful, but there's probably 200 people in here, and there's nothing I can do about that, and they left. But man, Halloween, let's get back to a point here. I love a good ghost story. Now, ghost stories aren't always scary. They don't have to be. They can be just, I don't know, to me there's a difference between scary and spooky. I don't know if everybody else feels that way or not, but to me there's definitely a difference between scary and spooky. Spooky is, or scary is like heart pound. Spooky is closer to creepy, but sweeter? I know that doesn't make any sense, but it's as close as I can get to making a reality out of it. Is that moving over a chair so I can get comfortable. Yeah, spooky is like a creepy version of, or spooky is like a sweet version of creepy. Ooh, spooky. It's not terrifying like scary is. It doesn't, it affects your brain more than it does like your advanced brain, more than it does your primal brain to me. So I like that. I'm a fan. And I don't know, it's just different. I love spooky. I love ghost stories. That book I showed yesterday in my live vlog. Live vlog? Live vlog. I'm going to go with that, live vlog. the book Fairy and Folktales of Ireland has a lot of spooky stories in it, like stories about the banshee and stuff like that that are just spooky. They're not terrifying, they don't make your skin crawl, they won't keep you up at night, but they deal with things we don't understand but aren't necessarily malevolent. And I love stuff like that. And I love it. I love seeing other people go, ooh, spooky. Spooky, creepy, and scary are three different things. I'm a fan of all three, don't get me wrong, but they're three distinct things. Man, I love Halloween. I know I'm not dressed up. Boo-hoo. You'll live. I'm dressed up as a guy doing research, so not only am I dressed as my character, I am role-playing my character, and I'm doing it in an appropriate setting. So, all that works out just fine for me. But, I mean, there's not a whole lot else you can do. I'm going to try and get rid of some of this background noise on the mic. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to do what I can here. I'm going to raise the noise suppression level a little bit. See if that helps at all. If I put too much noise suppression on this, it will make me sound like I'm trying to do this underwater, which I'm not. So I don't want to sound like I am. But yeah, I've been doing research getting into what I'm doing here today. I'm spending some time looking up monsters, and I don't have my monster book with me right now. I put it back on the shelf like a good little boy in the library. I put it back where I found it, because we are the stewards of our libraries and all our public spaces. So remember that the next time you are in a public space. You're partially responsible for the maintenance of that public space, and you should act like it. But hey, my stream health came back, yay! But oh, neck hurts. I can't do these live streams, especially with my glasses on, because you get this massive glare, and I had to stop wearing contacts because I had a problem with my eyes. So I'm doing this. I'm not blind, but it gives me a little bit of eye strain. So that's always fun. Eye strain's great. And as I've mentioned before in other videos, I'm photophobic. My eyes are very sensitive to light. And while it's wonderful to have these big windows, I can't do a live stream. Well, I could, but it's really kind of douchey looking to do a live stream with my sunglasses on. So I'm not doing that either. So, it's a little less comfortable than I would like. But I got these big, beautiful windows to look out. And luckily the windows are a little bit shaded, and they're on the shady side of the building. So it's not a huge problem. Could be a lot worse. Anywho, I think I have this room until 4. I hope it's not 3. I should find that out. The way you get these rooms is you actually, they have a system called dibs, and you basically call dibs. So I called dibs on this room, and you can get it for a maximum of I think 2 hours. That's the longest period I've seen for one of these rooms. So I want to make sure that it's 4 o'clock. Okay, perfect. Because it's now 2:56 local time. So, and if you're wondering what that beeping is, it's the guy next to me getting into his room. Sorry, just had to deal with that real quick. But no, like, I'm doing research on monsters and I'm trying to find good monsters for the story. Well, monsters, supernatural creatures, mythical beings, some legit monsters. I don't generally like to create my own. I could, and I may, depending, but my imagination doesn't really work like that. Sorry. My imagination really doesn't work like that. It just, there are so many good monsters that already exist in our mythos, in our collective unconscious, subconscious, take your pick, that there's no reason to create new ones. We have plenty. There are plenty of monsters and plenty of mythical creatures and beings in the world, in our, in our histories, that we don't have to, there's, unless you're doing something like, again, Stranger Things, where there are just the Duffer Brothers, man. Like, that's incredible. And even they, went with a little bit of inspiration from D&D and some of the 80s horror movies, but they updated it and they made this incredible monster that actually, I just realized, the mouth of the Demogorgon looks not dissimilar to the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. I wonder if that's intentional. I wonder if it's just a reference I just got and I haven't seen before. Or I wonder if it's accidental and it's just, I mean, it's creepy, so it could be anything. Man, I love Halloween. This isn't, I mean, you guys can't really see out the window. I'm going to see if I can turn this and get you a better view here, because the camera kind of focuses on me, so I don't know. Yeah, you can't really see very well out there. It's pretty bright. Maybe if I back out of the frame. Nope, white balance is still based on me. Oh well. Well, you can see how bright it is out there. And it's like 70 degrees. This doesn't look like Halloween to me. This looks like June. Oh well. It looks like June. Could be worse. Could be freezing outside. Could be above the boiling point of lead. Anywho, there are so many good monsters that, getting back to my point, there are so many good monsters that I wanted to stick with familiar ones, or at least semi-familiar ones. Ones that are in our collective subconscious, and I can work with those and I can kind of tweak them to fit how I want to see them, because that way there's no need to go full bore on a new monster. I'm not creating a new universe. I'm working within ours. And like to mention the Duffer Brothers again, they literally created a new universe. I'm just adapting parts of mythology into the universe I'm writing in. So there's no real, I mean, like I said, I may create some mythical creatures of my own down the road, but you have to, when you're writing, you have to give people a touchstone, a point to start off from that is recognizable and understandable. And going with, because I said, especially with Stone Sky, because I set it in the 1920s, sure, there's some visual touchstones there. I mean, people have seen or read The Great Gatsby. People have studied World War One. You know, people are aware of the time period, but it's disconnected, and the the other part of the story, the backstory, goes back significantly further than that, and I'm not going to tell you about that yet because spoilers. Um, but I don't want to ruin that. So I am intentionally sticking with monsters that are in the general idea of what I keep saying monsters, mythical things that are kind of in the general consciousness, because that's a touchstone. People can understand those things, and people can recognize them, and that's important. That's important from a storytelling standpoint, because if you drop something completely foreign on people that they have no reference point for, then you're going to lose your audience immediately, and that's a terrible idea. We don't like to lose our audiences, and especially with something like what I'm doing now, where there will be, in Stone Sky, where there will be tension and it will be scary at times and things like that. People have to have a way to connect with that world before you do that. Establishing shots in movies are that, like character development in movies, especially in horror movies, matters, because if random blonde girl number 2 dies, and we don't know anything about random blonde girl number 2, we're not going to care that she died. So we have to have that connection with the story and with the characters. And because of the way Stone Sky works, because of the way the story is proceeding and the world I'm writing it in, we have to have there has to be a connection with the folklore that I can build off of, because otherwise I'm just shouting crazy things into a computer, and it won't make any sense to anybody. I'll have to take too long to establish that, when I would rather just get into the actual storytelling part of it. So I'm using the recognizable folklore, European folklore, Eastern folklore, Native American folklore. I'm pulling from all kinds of sources, and I am doing that for a reason. It's not laziness. It is because those stories fascinate me, and I want to incorporate those folkloric elements into my story. And I have been babbling for almost half an hour. Hello, I'm the guy who babbles on the internet. But I'll try to be a bit more concise. My feeling on this, on writing about mythological things, or writing horror, writing supernatural stuff, is you have to establish a world that your reader can relate to. And we've all heard of goblins and dragons and trolls and all of these things. We all have these things in our collective memory. So using those things allows me to get into the meat of the story, and also I'm fascinated with those things. I love those old European, Native American, Eastern folk tales. I grew up hearing and reading stories about banshees and the good people, leprechauns, and all that kind of stuff. So I have a natural fascination with it, and I want to spread that fascination. You know, my background being Irish and German, you know, there's a ton of folklore there, and my interest in folklore spread from there. So that's kind of my root, and that European British Isles folklore. So I love using that in the story because it fascinates me, and I think it'll fascinate the readers as well. And it also, because so much of this stuff is kind of common knowledge, I can play with it and twist it and mold it in and remaster it, to use a completely incongruous term. And I can remaster it and make it, put a new spin on it. And I like that idea, and I like doing that kind of thing within an original story. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I keep coming to the library. It takes a lot of reference material. You have to know what you're talking about. As every English teacher ever on the face of the earth has said when faced with a particularly annoying student, me in many cases, you have to know the rules before you can break them. And it's true, you do. You have to know why the rules exist. And that applies to folklore, and it applies to writing and grammar and all that stuff. And once you know the rules, you can start twisting them to achieve the desired effect, which is why I'm doing so much research on all this folklore and all these mythical creatures, because I want to understand them so that I can make logical reimaginings of them, logical tweaks to them that don't go against what they are and what people see them as. And in some cases, it's just a matter of going all the way back to how they were originally conceived versus how we conceive them now. And that sometimes that's enough. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but some of the stories I was reading yesterday about some very common mythological creatures, very much in the public domain and very much commonly accepted to be of a certain type. When you go back and look at them and look at the earliest parts of them, because many of them exist in different cultures at the same time, or very similar things exist in different cultures. You look back at those early mentions of them, and it is horrifying what some of those things are. Like how they were envisioned at the time versus how we see them now. Trolls or gnomes. Gnomes is a good one. Go look up like the history of gnomes as a folkloric creature, not the history of little Hummel garden gnome figurines. Which, by the way, I want to fill my entire yard with, just because I want to be that guy. I have a prank I'm currently in the works of playing, so I can't talk about it, but that's what I'm laughing about, is I had a thought. But the best time to talk about this stuff is Halloween, because it's spooky that these things could exist, you know, fairies existing in the trees, and they cover the sound of their speech by shaking the trees, and that's why leaves rattle in the wind. And, you know, like all the original Grimm's fairy tales, those are terrifying, and a lot of them aren't even spooky, they're just terrifying. Down here in Louisiana, they have the Rougarou, which is a mythical beast, kind of a boogeyman. I think I mentioned him yesterday. But I love all these folktales, and like I was saying, the Banshee and Tuatha De Danann in Tir na Nog in Ireland, and just there's so many different ones. The Cobalt, which was a Germanic, what was it? I lost the word. A Germanic goblin kind of thing, and they would do like little things around your house for you while you were sleeping. That's not scary. I mean, there's nothing terrifying about somebody doing your ironing for you, but they would live in your house and they would do that, and you would leave food out for them, but you'd never see them. So, like, that's spooky. You wake up in the morning and someone's done all your ironing while you slept. Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much, Cobalt. But it's also really spooky. It's like waking up in the morning and finding your front door open. That happened to me a few days ago. I know why, thank God, but it was spooky. Nothing happened, like nothing bad, it was just spooky. I love spooky. I would rather be spooked than scared. So, Halloween is my time of year, as they say. I see all these people walking around down there, and they're all going about their lives, and they have no idea, or they do know and they just don't think about it, that tonight is the night when the veil between the land of the living and the land of the dead is at its thinnest. And the dead will walk among us. Yeah, that's right, I said it. And spooks and specters and wights and elder gods will roam the land. Also, little kids dressed up as Iron Man and I don't know, the girl from Frozen. I can't remember. I don't know what kids are dressing up as for Halloween this year. Hopefully there will be a lot of 11s from Stranger Things and some Dustins. Dustin's awesome. But you know, that's the basis of Halloween, and when you look back at that, that's spooky. Like, the dead can pierce the veil a little bit tonight, but not much, not enough to hurt you, unless something goes wrong. So, yeah, there's that. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Halloween, and we are pushing 40 minutes again, and I have been babbling the entire time. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have a fun and safe Halloween. Click like and subscribe, or click subscribe and the bell icon. If you like the video, click like. Comment on it. Let me know what you think about my random babbling in a library about Halloween and stories. And all my books and everything else, you can find links in the description below. You can check all those out. And that's about that for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching me do a 40-minute stream of consciousness beat poem about Halloween and my new stories. Check out Folktales. Support your local library. Check out all my stuff down there in the description. And have a very safe and very fun and very spooky Halloween. That is my time for today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. So, enjoy your Halloween, and I will see you very soon. Talk to you guys later.